I guess we haven't. I guess we, meaning me, haven't figured out the music yet.
You know what?
Why?
We're learning as we go, and I think people really get a big kick out of that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Not being professional is in. It's the new trend.
Yeah, it's lazy though. It's
It's
one of my
not.
it's one of my pet peeves when I see somebody on a podcast that the first 9 minutes is settling in. I don't like it. You get 30 seconds to grab my attention. My name's Tom Wise,
Hi, I'm Melinda McKinsey.
and we're good friends, and we're unpacking some shit, and we're asking
We
you to join us, and hopefully you're mildly entertained. Hey,
Yes,
share this with your enemies. Make them suffer too.
exactly. I think everybody needs to hear this because, like, your pet peeve is that. My pet peeve is when they start a live video and they're just staring in the camera. They're going, "Wait, okay, hold on, wait." They're waiting for more important people to show up or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, more people. Yeah, go after yourself.
Start.
Hey, so I took a cold shower for the first time in my life purposefully.
Is it because of Gwyneth Paltrow?
Not because of her. I mean, this is something that's been doodling around in my brain for a long time.
Okay.
And Carolla claims, I'm the poor man's Adam Carolla. You know what you might just do? Just listen to Adam Carolla. Take you
You
bypass
mention it
me.
every show.
But he takes a cold shower and to get him going in the morning. Jump in the pool in December, cold shower in the morning. It's not like cold shower and then a hot shower. No, it's a cold shower and you're out, starting your day.
Yeah.
I
Did
was
he
talking to-
mention Gwyneth about this? Did he mention
No.
Gwyneth?
He's been doing this a long time ago. I think this has been out there. This idea is not fresh with Carolla. He didn't invent this.
Right.
He was talking to some, extreme sports guy, some triathlete, and he said,
Yeah.
this is part of his routine.
Right.
Jumps in, and the Norwegians have been doing this for centuries. They go jump in the snow after they get in the hot tub. Blah 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 blah. So this whole shock in the system is not new. Is that me flashing?
Quit flashing. Did it work? How do you feel?
I hated the idea of it, and it was invigorating. So I stood there for about a minute or two until I felt I was done. But the first second is like, wow. And then, frankly, it's August in Florida. How cold can the water be?
True. That is true. Well, something's going on with the Oh, Tom, again, we lost you. Really? Technical difficulties are part of a show.
I don't know what's part. I'm not doing anything. So anyway, I think I'm on board with it. I felt, because I'm always like a little slow to go, and I've never been a coffee guy. And then my girlfriend introduced me to caffeine about 5 years ago. And I have to say, I'm mildly addicted, I think.
Well, a little bit of caffeine is not bad for you. I will say I was not a Gwyneth Paltrow fan. And then when her series came out on Netflix, someone else recommended it. I wasn't going to watch it because I'm telling you, she gave all the great studies and medical reasons. And because of that, I too now take cold showers.
No way. Every day or once in a while?
I try to do it every day, or I'll try to just like jump in. I'm telling you, I didn't believe in this until I watched that darn series with Gwyneth, because they gave the medical reasoning for it and they broke it down, and I needed to hear that. And I was like, well, damn, that makes a lot of sense.
You got to believe that it's, getting your system going, your endocrine system going. I just made up a word. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It kind of goes along with the topic I was going to talk about today, which is about fallacies. Like, have you ever believed in something and people told you you were wrong, and then later you were actually right about some stuff?
What?
Have you had that?
Can I circle back? May I put a button on the ice?
Put a button on it.
I was talking to our mutual friend Jay Adams. Do you know Jay?
Probably.
Home shopping.
I know the name.
Home shopping producer. Jay's been my best friend for 30 years.
Okay.
He, on a nightly basis, takes 2 Lowe's 5-gallon buckets, right? 5 gallons, fills them up with water, sticks them into a stand-up freezer that he bought, and he puts those ice buckets into a bath, and he sits in the ice bath, until the ice is all melted.
No.
He's a much better person than I am. Absolutely. I can't take a 40-second shower. He's sitting in an ice bath with 2 5-gallon ice cubes melting.
No, that's so. How long has he been doing that?
He's doing that. He's nebulizing enzymes.
Oh, Jay.
I saw Jay the other day. He was, I popped over to his house. He had to, I had to borrow something for like a mic piece,
Okay.
because he's, he's in a very, very high end second tier of mixed martial arts production. He produces shows of guys fighting all over the world. He's on NBC Sports. I mean,
Of course he does. That's why he does the cold water. He knows that stuff.
and during the COVID, he's put his gym into the garage. He bought one of those 8-station things.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch is ripped. He's almost 60 years old.
That's amazing. I actually play music. I try to last one song. That's what I do, because then
I like that. 3 minutes.
I'm distracted by the music, right? So I'm not thinking I'm dying, but it also makes me very happy, because anytime I feel like I'm actually doing something good for myself, it gives me a little endorphin boost, right?
Absolutely. Are you reading a book at the same time you're in the
Audiobook? No.
I started reading Darcy's book. Darcy's going to be our special guest next Wednesday.
Yes. I shall get the book. It's in my notes.
So you were saying, I apologize. You were saying something
No,
else.
I've been I've had a lot more time to actually think about stuff, because I'm not like in the mode of like work all the time. I'm working from home. And so I've had more downtime to think about what matters, what do I care about. And one of the things I find interesting about the world and the planet is that we've all been told certain rules, and everybody's like, oh, these are the rules. We better do these rules. And I've always felt like, well, why are they the rules? If it doesn't make sense, why are you doing the rules?
Right. Let's have a look at this. Think about, why is school 8 years for a kid in grammar school? Why college 4 years? Why high school? I mean, these are all rules. Are there 7 days in a week? Why are there 24 hours in a day?
It doesn't mean they're good. And so there have been a few things I've done in my lifetime, and I'm not going to always take the credit. For example, because I grew up in Honolulu, I didn't
every show it's Honolulu.
I didn't wear shoes a lot, right?
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
When I moved back to the mainland, everybody wears laced up shoes and socks, and it was not comfortable for me. So I did a lot of things barefoot, including going on long walks. And people were like, "That's so bad for you. Why would you do that? Wrong." Well, then I did some research, and I found out there's actually, it's been known through time, there are tribes that really advocate doing things barefoot, and they run like 25-mile marathons barefoot, because it's actually healthier for your feet and your body to be barefoot. These artificial arches and things that we've created over time are not necessarily good for us.
I like the Kenyans famously run, right?
Yeah, they do. But there's a tribe in Mexico that is known for long distance running and known for never wearing shoes. And there's a book out. I read the book about running. I've learned so much from books.
This book.
But here's the thing. Because growing up, I think I grew up in a more open-minded culture. It made me more open to looking at other ideas, because the school system I went to was an open school system. So there were pods. When you wanted to, let's say, do an art class, I was in second grade when I started. I could go to the second grade art class, or if I thought I was at an elevated level, I could go to the fifth grade art class. As long as you can keep up, you got to choose. So that was good with reading, with math, with everything. So you got to choose, because they learned that kids will try to rise up on their own. And because I was raised in that environment, when I moved to the States, they're like, oh no, you'll be at this level. This is the level we decided, and then we'll decide the next level. And that always bothered me, in the world. And I think with everything that's going on now, right, with the pandemic and the politics, just because it's a rule or a law doesn't necessarily mean it's good. We need to reevaluate our Constitution possibly, and the electoral system, and see if maybe there is a better way that we can move forward.
I concur. I mean, that's why we have, amendments to the Constitution. They knew when they wrote the damn thing that it wasn't going to be bulletproof.
Yeah, I mean,
did you have something in mind, a specific example
of like of a constitutional amendment I want to change?
No, ma'am. Something else. Something else. Yeah, I something else. Like,
I was asking you as well, have you noticed in your life, because we've had a lot of talks about how you fix things and done things, and you are creative and you do things on your own, that you've noticed something in your life where everybody's like, no, this way. And you're like, let me go over here and take a look and see if this way works better for me.
I suppose I thought maybe you were leading to an example of something that we've all been thinking of one way, but you look at it a different way. That reminds me that I don't think an example's coming. It reminds me, have you ever seen that book? Steve, what's his name? It's famously, the cover had an apple with an orange inside. Did you ever see that?
I don't think so. It's not ringing a bell.
I'll have to circle back. And it was an examination of pretty much what you're talking about, how things may appear one way, but they're actually a different way.
Yes.
He talked famously, this won't be a good example, but it's going to be something that was an observation. He goes, most professional hockey players are born in January and February. Because think about it. If you were born on January 1st, there's going to be variations to the theme, but here's the idea. You're born on January 1st, and then you're in school with some kid who's born on December 31st. Right. You guys are in the same grade, but you're a year larger. You're a year older. You're a year more mature. And so you're going to have a whole year of physicality over the guy that's born in February, in December. So you're going to be more mature. And then because you're going to be on the ice more, they want more physical players. They want more physical people. Hang on, Patrick. I'm finishing a thought. Then you're going to always be in the first group as you go throughout your whole grammar school, high school, and college career. You're going to be on the first team. You're going to get all the ice time, whereas the smaller kid is never going to get that advantage. And that's why people do hold their kids back. I don't know if they do that specifically for physical things, but I know scholastically sometimes you'll hold a kid back. But it was an interesting thing because he analyzed all the hockey players that are playing in the NHL, and the preponderance born in January, February, March.
See, but that also goes along with that open concept of schools I was talking about. If you let kids learn to their degree of learning, they will actually excel on their own and then get themselves more advanced because they want to learn. Because once you see your peers, if all my other 8-year-old friends are going to the 10-year-old class, I want to go there too. But if I'm failing, I'm going to step back a minute because I don't want to fail in front of my friends.
Right.
So I love that concept.
Well, look who's here.
Finally, I'm introduced.
Patrick, welcome to the show.
Well, it's a pleasure to be onto what is the show called? You made the right choice. You've tuned into
Unpacking some shit with Wise and McKinsey.
You can't say that.
Say it.
The internet. You can't.
Why can't we say that? Who made that rule?
Wow. Breaking it down.
The rules, things you can't say. I'm going to be like one of these news people. They always have a cup of coffee. They're always sitting around chatting, having a drink.
I have my 8 green that I'm drinking.
Patrick, we're on the clock. You come in for a specific purpose.
Really? Okay.
What's your purpose, Patrick?
Apparently, I have a purpose. It's 3 truths and one truth. No, there's 2 truths and there's 1 lie. You got to listen closely.
All right. We're going to play 2.
It could be a trick.
It is a trick.
Okay, here we go.
Yes.
Since we're talking about, well, I guess you weren't talking about the post office, but it's probably going to go there. So there's a overarching theme of this particular episode, which is called Origins. We call this episode name of Origins. Okay. So the first one, the origin of the post office. So here's my first statement. Benjamin Franklin was appointed first Postmaster General in 1775 prior to the American Revolution. Can you imagine that the post office has been around since 1775? Maybe, maybe not.
Okay.
Number 2, baseball was invented in the state of New York prior to the Civil War. It's been around a while. Okay. New York. And number 3, Amazon. We're all familiar with Amazon, the e-commerce e-store.
I'm afraid so. Yes.
It started in the mid-90s as an online marketplace for electronics, which really was the first lethal blow to Radio Shack, which kind of caused the Radio Shack demise by the Jeff Bezos.
Okay,
So-
Melinda, you want to break it down?
No.
Go on.
Really?
Okay. Oh, dang it, man. So I don't know a lot about sports, so I would be totally out on the baseball thing, even if I had the logic to decipher the timeline. Because what did you say about
Prior to the Civil War.
prior to the Civil War?
It's a long time ago. When was the Civil War? 1865?
I don't think about sports, so I'm gonna say I know the least about that one. So I'm gonna say that is the lie.
All right, let me go. May I break mine down? We all know Benjamin Franklin did start the post office in 1773.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're no gotchas here.
How
Yeah,
do we
no
know
gotcha.
that? What are you basing that on?
Going to school and knowing that Benjamin Franklin started the post office. Secondly, we also do know that Abner Doubleday invented baseball. And yes, it's been around since the Civil War. And
That's
then
right.
lastly, this is a 2-foot putt. Amazon started as a bookstore, Melinda McKinsey, not an electronic store. Look at Pat. Look at the smirk on his face. White. You just jumped right.
But he didn't say. Okay, I knew that Amazon started as a bookstore, but that's not what Patrick
He
was.
said it started as an electronic store.
Yeah, I did say
I
that.
guess he did say it started. Yeah.
Well, I even followed it up with the Radio Shack.
He gave it to you. He handed that on a silver platter. Now, how do you feel?
I feel like I'm very consistent when it comes to logic.
What's your logic was the least, you choose the one you least know about?
My logic is that I don't base a lot of things on logic.
You know what? We can name this segment Belinda's Gut.
Yes.
That's very good. That's very good.
Yeah, Melinda, I'm astounded.
Do I always have to be right? It's not necessary for me to be right. It's more necessary for me to enjoy the game.
You're sounding
I
very,
agree
very much like
wholeheartedly.
you know who.
It's no fun if everyone gets to lie.
That's right. No, I like it. That was Pat did it great. I mean, I thought that was a great setup.
Origins, that was the overarching theme.
Okay, you know what? This also has a little bit of a stink on it. Can I say something?
Uh-oh.
Has a little bit of stink on it because some like inner city kids will complain, and apparently truthfully, so that when they're taking aptitude tests or logic tests or IQ tests, that the questions are skewed towards white kids in the suburbs. So they're going to know certain things about certain things when the inner city kids may or may not have that experience.
That's changing somewhat.
It's changing, of course. I'm talking about 50 years ago, 30 years ago.
That's true.
So now Patrick has picked out the middle thing about baseball. You're right. Melinda's way, she's not going to have any reference on that probably. But me, we know who invented basketball.
Well, you're right, because there's the baseball Hall of Fame and so forth.
Yeah,
What town was it? What town did Abner Doubleday famously?
Cooperstown, right?
Very good. Extra points, Tom.
Oh, don't give him extra points for being
It's an extra point.
No.
Okay, Melinda, give me something else that Benjamin Franklin invented or produced.
Yeah, one other thing.
Starts with farmers.
Starts with what?
Farmers? Is that what you just said?
I did. That was just a clue, but anything.
Oh, yeah, I get that. I got it.
What is his farming history? I don't know. I mean, everybody learned in school about Benjamin Franklin and the kite. That's like the #1 story about Benjamin.
I like that. So so what did he invent there? What did he discover?
It was about electricity.
There you go. Perfect.
Oh my God. But going back to what's really unfair here, boys, is that I assumed Patrick put a athletic reference in there because he knows I know nothing about it. And so that would be the trick because I have nothing to base baseball on whatsoever because Patrick always has a spin and a trick. But I didn't realize that his trick would be about Amazon and books because I know Amazon was started on books. But when he said Radio Shack, I was like, well, shit, maybe there was a tie into Radio Shack I didn't know because I know Radio Shack.
It's funny, Pat. Right before you popped into the segment, she was bragging on her education in Hawaii. How people are able to go from this grade and flow into this grade. It's like, wow.
I stand by that because I'm more free thinking. I mean,
if you stayed in line, you might have learned about Abner Doubleday.
So your Hakuna Matata and so forth.
Yeah, Hakuna Matata.
They didn't really teach me about sports.
What's the state pastime of sport
Yeah,
in Hawaii?
what's the Hawaii pastime?
The sport pastime. What is everyone?
Sumo wrestling.
Really?
Yeah, there was a station that only played sumo wrestling. We all knew all the wrestlers.
Radio.
Really? That's
Yeah.
fascinating.
There you go.
That's
Fascinating. No, thanks for bringing something to the table.
Yeah, you could ask a sumo wrestling question. I'd have no clue.
The same answer that Patrick and I would consistently say was diaper.
I wanted to say diaper. Even
See,
though
I know
wasn't
it.
a question.
It's diaper.
I mean, these guys are very well respected. They work very hard. There's very specific areas that they grab and moves that they hold that count for points. It's a very intense. I recommend watching it if you've never watched sumo wrestling, and to look at the histories of these men. They're very highly regarded.
Sure.
Yeah.
And by the way, more Franklin information. Farmer's Almanac.
Oh yeah, that.
Bifocals. I even have a Benjamin Franklin chair in the house where it flips from a chair to a 3-step step stool. That got me going on the carry cart. Benjamin Franklin was my inspiration for the carry cart redesign.
Benjamin Franklin was #1 in my book. Number one founding father.
Are you being serious about Benjamin Franklin being your?
Yeah.
I thought you were lying. Okay.
George Washington is really good, and Thomas Jefferson also. Those three, they are the 3 horsemen.
Is it true that we were taught in school that George Washington had wooden teeth? And I recently read that that wasn't true, that they actually supplied him with teeth from the slaves, that they pulled the slaves' teeth and he actually had real teeth.
I think the truth is that he had a hot combo. Some slaves' teeth, some wooden teeth. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Curious. That was something I just learned recently.
That could easily be material for 2 truths and a lie.
Everything in life is two truths and a lie, Patrick. Everything.
Mostly lies.
Everything in life.
All right. You want to give any tip of the day, Pat, or say go shout out to you?
Go ahead. That's all you want me for?
Well,
Am
you can stick around if you like. Join
You
the
don't have
show.
to leave. We're getting ready to dive into some real stuff here.
Another topic. Go ahead, Melinda. What's another topic you have, darling?
All right. I want to talk about signs. Do you know what I mean by that?
Science.
Astrological or stop signs?
Or signs in life. If you're looking for a sign, if you're hoping for a sign, you see something and you're like, that's exactly what I need to see. That kind of a sign.
Okay.
Okay, so check this out. I love signs. I'm always looking for signs. My thing is a white feather. If I'm struggling, like especially when I was traveling, if I was struggling and people joke and say, oh, there's birds everywhere. Well, you know what? Not white feathers. Like a white feather is what I look for. So when I'm traveling, if I'm out and about and I see a white feather, I stop, I take a moment, whatever. So at home, I was cleaning some things up because we've been home for so damn long. And I found a box that I had ordered with Valentine's fortune cookies, right? So they were red for Valentine's Day and they had fortunes inside. So I didn't want to keep them anymore because I was from February. So I cracked them all open and I took all the fortunes and I put them in a little vase because I thought, oh, this will be fun for later. I won't read them. I'll put them all in there. After I put them all in the vase, I thought, you know what? I'll just pull one out. I can't wait. So I pulled one out and it said, an old love will come back to you. And that's funny to me because I'm not dating and I just don't care right now. And then we have a pandemic. What the hell am I going to do? So I put it back in the jar and I started doing things. The next day, the cats had gotten into the jar, knocked the jar over. So I'm picking up all of and I'm not looking because I don't want to know. So I put them in the jar and I walk towards the kitchen. There's one that's away from the others. It's by the kitchen. I pick them up. It's the same one. An old love will come back to you. So I'm like, wait, do they all say that? So I go back to the jar because I'm suspicious, 2 truths and a lie.
Yeah, good.
And they don't. So I put it back in the jar. This morning, I go into the kitchen and I notice that there's a mess on the tile and I don't want to clean it, but also it'll bother me if I don't. So I get down on my hands and knees and I'm like cleaning the floor. There's a fortune cookie
No way.
on the floor by the sink. I pick it up. Can you see it? And
Yes.
old love will come back
Wow.
to you.
And then Pat joined the show.
Wow. That's crazy.
Time to be honest, Pat. We got to share our love with the world.
What better format than this?
Right? I do believe in signs, and I think things come to you for a reason. I don't know why this would come to me, because I'm not looking for a love, or not, I don't feel like I can right now with the pandemic. So I just think that's fascinating. So
Don't you think Pat's looking very much George Clooney-esque today?
Let me tell you, I just took a shower, which might be a
showers are good.
I was thinking, I'm like, well, no one's going to smell me on the Zoom call, but yet
I know. Yeah. Well,
I feel fresh.
you want to feel your best.
May I say something about the feather thing? I thought you were going to circle back to a feather. When my father-in-law died, we flew out to California. I've always been, I don't know why I'm not a fan, but aware of an old wives' tale. If you see a penny on the ground and its heads up, that's somebody from heaven saying hello. Have you ever heard about this?
No.
So I wish I could remember all the specifics, but in my memory was that I found 2 pennies like that in that. I mean, I'll go years without looking down and finding a penny, like 2 pennies like that. And then as I was leaving, I walked up to the ticket to make an adjustment, see if I could get a different seat. Looked down, a 3rd penny with the heads up on it that I find on that trip. 3 pennies I found on the trip when we went to bury my father-in-law.
I think signs are very important. My thing with the pennies is I was told if it's face down, you have to pick it up and toss it for the next person. If it's face up, it's for you. So that's what I've been doing. If it's face down, I pick it up and toss it for the next person.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm having a mixed feeling about pennies. Actually, it's occurred to me today. I have a bag full of change, and there's some pennies mixed in there. And like, this is litter. This is actually, it might as well be chewed up gum.
Yeah.
Could you have ever thrown out money?
Well, that's a federal offense. Go on. Hang on.
I never have.
What happened?
Yeah.
You ever felt tempted to throw out money? And then it's like, what kind of, then you think about people who lived in the Depression, and they're just so, you have to really save everything.
Right.
Penny candy when we were kids at Joe's.
I know, 4 cents. You get a bullseye.
That'd be nice. Yeah, I think most people do complain about pennies, because what do you really use them for other than when you're buying something, you leave a penny, take a penny, that whole thing.
They're a mess.
But now with COVID, can we even do that anymore? Can we touch other people's pennies?
Money. I was at a vegetable stand, and it was just off the side of the road by your house, Tommy. I bought some cauliflower, and I bought some shiitake mushrooms. They were delicious. And then when I went up to pay, I said, "Would you prefer cash?" Because usually these places, they prefer cash. And she said, "It doesn't matter." So this isn't much of a story, so I ended up using my card.
Wow, that's fascinating. That's great.
But I had the cash, but it occurred to me, it's like
vegetables. Whoa.
These are the transmission sources that we don't even think about. Or licking envelopes. Has that crossed your mind to not lick an envelope?
You know what? It didn't, but when I had my voting stuff, because my daughter, who's 30, pays more attention, because it's such a habit, but it's not a habit for her because she doesn't mail things, right? So when I had my voting thing, I started to lick it, and she goes, "What are you doing? You don't lick the envelope." But it was a habit, and I hadn't thought of it because of COVID. Don't do that. But
no one said that until your daughter. I haven't heard anyone say that.
What's the downside of licking an envelope?
Well, you're transmitting the virus potentially to the mailman, and then to the whole neighborhood.
And what if the virus is on? It's, first of all, it's just not even clean. Let's just be honest. That is not clean.
Yeah, how did that become accepted?
Well, how about driving through and getting a bag of Taco Bell? The guy, what do you think? The guy
He's not licking the bag.
Yeah, but you're touching a bag that he's touched. And,
yeah, but the saliva is the transmission. It's the wet stuff. You can eat
the COVID all you want.
Tom, the deal with Taco Bell is everybody knows Taco Bell is the basis for building up your immunity. So you must touch everything. So Taco Bell is different.
What about a 7-Eleven hot dog?
Oh, who buys those?
It survives a nuclear bomb.
Who buys those? Wasn't that a Seinfeld episode about the hot dog? Kramer ate it. It had been sitting, no, it was at the movies. Never mind, but still. Who buys those? I actually, when I first moved here, I bought a hot dog at Central Park because I thought it'd be cool to buy a hot dog off of the street vendor. And I think it was like $10 or something ridiculous. But I thought, who cares? I'm in New York. It was a terrible hot dog. And I learned later, no one ever buys those except for the tourists because they're terrible. And it's just the idea of buying a hot dog in Central Park. It's really not a great hot dog. So that's my story.
Wow. 2 hot dog stories. I enjoy a hot dog. I'll eat a hot dog. I'll lick an envelope. There's me.
But you don't see that as a problem, licking the envelope.
In today's world, things are different now. Like
all you got to do is keep your hands away from your face.
Well, for yourself, but I'm talking about transmitting it. If, say you're carrying it, you don't know.
I mean, listen, when this whole thing started, they were telling us we got packages in the mail to wipe the packages down. Remember, that was a whole thing. So we're learning different things. Yeah, but why do something that could cause you harm or someone else harm?
I agree. I concur. I wouldn't do it purposefully to try to get but I mean, by the time he picks it up, it's been in the box for 3 hours or 6 hours or whatever. No one's really touching it. Again,
who knows? All they have is questions.
Here's the puzzler. Are you ready for the puzzler?
Yes.
Sure.
Mr. Vegetable Fruit Stand?
Yes.
How about when you're at the Publix and you want to open one of those little bags to put your vegetables in, and you've got your mask on?
Yeah, a lot of people, they lick their lick.
Oh, that's the only way you can open those things.
I've never done that, but I understand that that's truth.
It's a thing. I've learned because I walk my dog.
I was wrestling with one for about 5 minutes trying to get it open.
Well, talk about now there's an invention waiting to happen, Tommy.
Here's the secret. Because I walk my dog with a mask, what I've learned is, because I have those biodegradable bags, but they feel like slippery. Why are you laughing? I have an answer.
No, I love it. I'm just laughing because the whole show is over and we really never get anywhere.
Who cares? People want to hear this stuff. You take the bag and you tear it a little. If you tear it a little, it causes the friction and it opens up, and then so just tear it a little bit and it'll open up.
And I like that idea, but also another thing that I ended up doing was rubbing it.
Yeah.
And then I went shopping.
See, well, the boys' way is this. The ladies' way is this.
Okay, everybody got a visual
that
on
goes
that.
to a whole other new segment.
Look at you're embarrassing Patrick with your.
Oh,
all right. Well, there you go. I think we've done our business. Go ahead, Melinda.
I was going to say,
one in the can.
Let's let Patrick wrap it up. Patrick, we always wrap our show with a sexy tip of the day. So what's your sexy tip of the day?
You want to see my sexy tip?
Wow.
I don't know if that's allowed. I don't have a sexy tip. You're the one who's the sex machine. I'm not that.
No. Thank you for calling me a machine, but do you have like a philosophical tip for
Hey, I got a question.
Yes.
I had a little problem.
It's not your fault.
It's a mix. Here's a mixed message. Let me riddle you this, Melinda. Okay, this is a long time ago, a couple years ago. So I apologize for the folks watching the clock. So I'm gonna get to the end of the story. The story is funny, but I'm gonna get to the end part.
Okay.
The premise is I was invited over for a cocktail at 11 o'clock at night. Okay.
Oh wow.
Many things happen. There's tears. There's drinks. There's.
Cheers.
I'll tell the story another time, but I just want to get to the end of it.
Okay.
So she says to me, she goes, "Hey, we got to change the sheets on the bed." Hey, good. That's our show. That's our show.
That sounds like a tip coming up.
Before or after?
You change the
Just
sheets
before
you call. Yes, that's the
Before.
tip.
Why didn't she change them before you showed up? Oh no, she sounds like she's doing some mind fuckery with you.
Wow.
So we changed the sheets. However, I'm just going to get to the end of it. All right.
Yes.
When we finally get inside the bed,
okay,
she emerges out of the bathroom wearing a sweatshirt, sweatpants, and wrapped in a blanket.
Because she's playing that she's coming home from the Arctic and you're going to rescue her when she jumps onto the mountain and you strip her down?
This is 4 years ago. I'm saying, talk about a mixed message.
Yeah, I'm very confused by all of that. I would say
thought maybe you'd have some clarification.
I just told you she was trying to role play with you where she is coming in from the mountain and you're supposed to rescue her and take off her sweatpants and her blanket. You're
The
supposed
only
to
way we'll survive is if we undress ourselves and try to, maintain the
try to
heat.
stay warm, and you need to do the body heat thing. She clearly is role playing.
Right.
I think she was conflicted.
You don't invite someone over at 11 o'clock at night for a cocktail and then put on your sweats unless they're your gay friend.
There were the tears, remember.
I'll tell the whole story another time. We're so much over time. It's ridiculous.
Lord, we need to do an hour show every day. We have a lot to unpack.
Maybe if I would tell the whole story, the ending would be, oh yeah, okay, I get that.
Oh, really? See, we need to break this down. We need to have an hour sex show every day and then an hour show of the random stuff.
I thought maybe you could give me a little insight, like, well, she really wanted to have sex, but there's another part of her that didn't want to have sex. So she shows up in the bed with it's a whole garb on. And then,
all right, if you want me to be honest, she wanted to be comforted. If she puts on her sweats and she's crying and she calls you 11 o'clock at night, all those things tell me she needs comforted.
Yeah, I agree with Melinda there for once.
I mean, hello, what did you think?
well, I mean, but then the whole let's change the sheets thing, and let's
She just wanted to noodle, and she didn't want you in another man's genetic material.
Yeah. She really didn't, which I got to give her credit for doing that, but also, ew.
For doing what?
For the fresh change and not making you be in the stew.
Right. Nobody wants that. So, yeah.
Nobody wants what?
I mean, did she have like issues about cleanliness or something?
Oh, no.
Maybe changing the sheets was a breakdown. She needed a little bit of time, and she thought if you guys did that thing together, she had some time to sort some things out in her head.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much about the stew as it was about her needing some time. I think we can go a lot of ways with this, and I think we need an hour sex show.
I'm just talking about a mixed message. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes. But I'm sure in her head it all made sense because we got the stories all right here. We know what we want. How dare you not read our minds?
In those situations, I just tend to keep on backing away. Back up. Let's give this a lot of space.
You know what? When in doubt, offer a back rub.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of tell where it can go from there. If it just stops there, at least you've had a lovely exchange, but they'll let you know from that point.
I have nothing but love and support for the entire situation. I was just a little bit confused.
I would be confused too. But I support.
Like somebody inviting you over for dinner and then just serves up empty plates. Here you go.
Yeah. But the fact that she called you that late at night probably would have been the first sign that maybe things aren't going to come from a stable mindset, right? If someone calls you at 11 o'clock at night.
It wasn't that we didn't know each other either.
Oh, if I'm calling someone at 11 o'clock at night, it's because something's going on, not because, hey, how you doing? You know what I mean?
Have you ever called anybody at 11 o'clock at night?
Who, me or Patrick?
I'm
talking
talking
about
to you
for
right
a booty call? You're talking.
Let's let Melinda answer this question.
Of course I have. I'm a human being. I have needs.
And we've done it again. We've turned sexy talk around on Melinda. She gets the avocado.
Avocado shaker.
There you go. And that's our show for today. Have a great weekend, everybody. My name's Tom Wise.
I'm Melinda McKinsey.
I'm Patrick Wise, and you've made the right choice.
And it's another one in the can. Melinda, take us out.
What do you want me to do? Dance?
No, you've been watching, you've been listening to.
Oh, you've been listening to Wise and McKinsey unpacking some shit.
Thank you.
Well done.
See you Monday.
See ya.
Let's end the meeting all.
We never. It's always that awkward additional
I've done it again.
30 seconds.
All right, I'm out. 3, 2.